What's your
Oh, van de Haar.
okay. So welcome everyone here. This is MindBody TV. We are here again with the MindBody Miracle series with Ymkje, who has been in the Embracing Health program over the last year. She has some incredible stories and results and a really amazing journey to share here. And we wanted to bring this series for those of you who are maybe new to MindBody Medicine or have been following this for a while but are ready to go much deeper with this work. We do open the doors once a year for the Embracing Health program where we work with you live. We bring you through this journey. It is a powerful and profound integration of really beginning to be a more conscious being. It doesn't just affect your health, it affects every aspect of your life. And so whether you are struggling with a chronic autoimmune disease or pain or fatigue or just conundrums of mystery illness, or you are a highly sensitive person ready to awaken more fully into your power and consciously create your life. So I am very excited to bring Ymkje here to share her story. This is part 2 in the Mind Body Miracles series. So welcome everyone here. I'd love to hear where you're tuning in from. And Ymkje, welcome. Thank you. And why don't you just introduce yourself and why you were inspired to share today?
Yeah, my name is Ymkje. I'm very excited to be here with all of you. And why I'm inspired to be here, it's that I had amazing results with Embracing Health. And I really feel like that when healing was possible for me, so it's possible for everyone. And that's why I really would like to share my story.
Thank you. So why don't you tell us where you were a year ago, what you were dealing with, and what inspired you to come to this work?
Yeah, I discovered your work, I think in September before I attended Embracing Health by the Tapping Summit. And yeah, I resonated so much with your work already. And I did a lot of other things before that. And it really helped me to tune in the healing capacity of my body. And I felt trust that I was able to heal. I've never felt the trust before. And I was having actually already results by just seeing all the YouTube videos and doing the audios on YouTube. So I didn't really want to attend Embracing Health because I thought I was already making improvements by it. And then I was watching the episode with Jessica and Alicia about Embracing Health. And it was just my heart said, yeah, you have to be there. It will change your life. And it was very clear, but my head said, yeah, but you made already improvements by all the free stuff. And you did already so much other things. So you should do it on your own. That one was very loud as well. And you spent already so much money. So you should save your money for other things. But my heart was very clear. And so I decided to follow my heart. And especially I felt I allow myself to do it in an easy way and a fluid way and to nurture myself the most. And it was very funny because the moment I decided to attend Embracing Health, I got 2 unexpected gifts financially. So I just had exactly the amount I needed to attend the program. So the whole universe was supporting me. And that felt as an amazing start already.
Oh, that's amazing. I want to hear more about that because that is very common that once we make a choice in favor of the heart, you describe the mind and, whenever we're having doubt, oh no, you should save for something else. Oh, you should do this. It's a different frequency, and inspiration will never guide us through doubt. It will guide us through a clarity, either a yes or a no clarity, but a clarity versus doubt or fear. And when we choose along the lines of that inspiration, it always creates expansion immediately. So what was it you saw in your finances that supported that?
Yeah, it was my parents, they decided to give my brother and me a gift. And also for my work, I got a bonus, but I work in the care, and we never have a bonus. So just all of a suddenly we got an unexpected bonus. So that was very amazing.
This is not uncommon. I've had a lot of people report that kind of stuff. So, and the reality is every time we make a choice in favor of our inspiration, everything responds to us. Like we've literally just created a shift in everything around us. So that's awesome.
Yeah, and it really helped me that you say that a couple of times on your calls. So I knew it would be possible. And so I was already more receptive for that.
Mhm. So what were you struggling with that you wanted to deal with this work?
Yeah, it all started when I was 16 years old. I had an accident in a water slide in a swimming pool, and I bumped with my head to the water slide, but I can't really remember what actually happened. And then I had a severe concussion. I was in the hospital for 2 nights. And after that, I didn't recover very well from it and experienced a lot of headache, migraines, fatigue, sensory overwhelm was a big one, dizziness, and neck pain. And at some point, I got diagnosed with whiplash and later on with post whiplash syndrome because I didn't recover very well. And after 2 years, they said to me because I didn't recover within 2 years, it would be chronic. And I was 18 by then. And yeah, just my whole future collapsed when I hear that. All the time I had the hope that I would recover. And I was a talented hockey, field hockey goalkeeper. And my whole life was around that. And just that whole collapsed with hearing that perspective. And after that, I did an how do you say, rehabilitation program for a year, and but it didn't really help me. And now I see my nervous system was so contracted already when I started with that program that all the input they gave was just far too much. And I was really in a fixing mode. I just wanted to have my back, my life back. It was just one big problem. I want to be fixed, and I want to be normal again.
And were
Uh,
you able to work during that time, or how was your life limited?
yeah, I was doing my study. I moved to Amsterdam then, but I was struggling through it a lot, and I was not able to attend the student life, and I had delayed also with the study. But my life was all about just going to some classes, sleeping, recovering from it, and then doing some rehabilitation program, and then sleeping, having a lot of headache, and it was all about just recovering from what I did.
Wow.
And yeah, and I was feeling miserable actually all the time, and also emotionally quite lonely. Other students didn't really get me. I had some amazing friends, but I also lost a lot of friends because yeah, my life didn't fit with their life anymore. And by that time, like whiplash was a thing. They said if it doesn't heal naturally, then it's all in your head and you're making it up. And I thought, yeah, but I was just very healthy. I had the accident, and now I have all these problems. So it's just all in my body. And I was fighting against all the doctors all the time because they didn't really get me and I didn't feel taken seriously. And so there was a struggle with that, and also with all the people around me. Most of them also didn't understand why I was able to go to university, but was not able to go to a birthday party or to do something. So yeah, I felt very lonely around that. And after the rehabilitation program, I still wanted my life back. So I tried almost everything in the holistic field, all kinds of things. But actually, most of the times I felt worse after treatment. or it helped a little bit. And then after some time, I was just back where I was. So I did that for years, and I was around 23. I was completely fed up with all the treatments, so I quit of them, and I went to a silent retreat for young people. And that was the start of a new life, because I was meeting the sensitive one in me. I was meeting people who were the same like me. I was meeting all the dense emotions inside of me. I was repressing for such a long time. I did a lot of workshops after that, and silence retreats. And I actually got better by then. I went to a workshop and I released a lot of emotions. And suddenly I was able to move my neck a little bit. And I wasn't able to do that for 6 years or so. So that was amazing. And that was, for me, a big proof that there is a connection between your mind and your body and your emotions. So I kept doing that kind of things, and I got better, but still had symptoms all the time. So I had a lot of crashes, and when I went to a party or dancing or did something, I had to recover a couple of days from that.
Wow.
But I took it for granted. It was, for me, it was already okay that my life was like that. And I was doing another study at university, and I was doing better, but still not able to attend live fully. And I started working with less hours than normally, and just try. And I really wanted to prove myself all the time that I have those conditions, but I'm really worthy to work, and I'm really worthy to be a friend. And so I was improving myself. I was proving myself all the time. And when I was around 30, and there was a period of a lot of stress at my work. I was in a destructive friendship thing with a guy, and I lost myself in that. There were some family issues going on, and my health got worse and worse and worse. And I was very fatigued. In Holland, we cycle a lot. And normally I cycled quite a lot, but after 5 minutes, I just fell off my bike. I was so tired. And the sensory overwhelm became much worse, and all the symptoms became worse and worse and worse. And I had also panic attacks by then. But I felt ashamed for them, so I was hiding them, and I was having panic attacks at night. And then in the morning, I struggled to go to work again. And so I was repressing a lot, and it was getting worse and worse. And at some point, I was diagnosed with severe B12 deficit.
Mhm.
And
They found your B12 was very low because your body stopped being able to absorb vitamins so well.
yeah, and probably it is a genetic thing as well, because I have a cousin who has it, and my grandmother had it too. So, and I thought, okay, this is the solution. I found the solution for everything. I just have to get it solved. But I was mistreated with that, and my doctor didn't really know the right treatment. So I was just doing my own research all the time. I was on the internet all the time, because I really had to solve this. But the treatment didn't really work in my body, and I tried a lot of things for years, actually. And all the times when the B12 was low, I was completely bedridden. And I had a kind of dementia, like all simple things, I just couldn't do it anymore. And I just didn't understand things anymore. My brain was not working anymore. And so it was, for years, I was trying to solve that, and tried all kinds of naturopath healers and things. And they found also other things like Epstein-Barr virus, and all kinds of things were happening in my body. And I was focusing on getting that healed all the time. And I was having a very strict diet. I was having lots of food allergies. At some point, I was only able to eat some soup or porridge because my body couldn't absorb more. And that made me that gave me a lot of tension about food. I was not enjoying it anymore. I was all the time looking, oh, can I eat that? How would my body respond on that? So there was a lot of contraction around food. And there was some histamine tolerance as well. So I was also focused on it, not getting too much histamine inside of my body. And I was just trying to solve it all.
Yes.
And at some point, I think it was 6 years ago, I found the work of Joe Dispenza. And his work is all about quantum healing. And I really felt, that's the key. And I read his books and attended his courses. And he says for changing your neural pathways, you have to be very dedicated to this work. And you have to do the meditations every day. And so I did his meditation very long, like an hour or so. And I did them for 10 months, twice a day. Even when I was feeling miserable, I did them. But I didn't feel any change in my health. I felt some lightness, but not change. So after 10 months, I was completely fed up with it. And I also felt very hopeless for why it's working for other people and not for me. But with all the knowledge I have now from your work, I understand that my nervous system was on fight, flight, shut down all the time. So I wasn't available for healing. And he shares all the stories about people who were attending his retreats and just all of a sudden they completely healed. So I thought I'm just sitting in meditation, I'll open my eyes and I will be completely healed. That was my image of how the healing would happen.
It
And
can happen any way it happens, and it can happen like that for some.
yeah,
Yeah, it sounds like your journey was different.
yes, it was. And I learned with your work to focus on all the small shifts. And I think I had some small shifts by then, but I wasn't aware of that because I had that image in my head how the healing would look like.
Yeah.
And so I stopped with his work. I sometimes did meditation, but not so much. And then I did a lot of nervous system regulation work and learned about polyvagal theory and somatic experience. And that really helped to get in tune with my nervous system and get out of fight flight mode. And I learned a lot of tools, but I also use them to fix my life and to deal with life. So I did that. And then I read something about connective tissue disorders. And it was like, that it is. And I was hesitating if I wanted another diagnosis again, if I wanted to go to doctors again. But I was a bit stuck in my recovering process because all the time I did something, I had a subluxation in my shoulders or my hips were subluxated and a lot of pain in my wrist and my ankles got sprained all the time. So I thought this might help me to learn how I can recover in a better way. And so I went to get it checked, but I have a body that doesn't really fit into the medical protocols. So I saw like 3 doctors and they all had another score in a hypermobility. And because my muscles are very tight and some of them said, oh no, but you're not really hypermobile. And other ones said, yeah, you're very hypermobility. And I also
Like we get a little bit of a vague picture of this one says this and that one says
yeah,
that. And searching for the answer, and everybody has a different perspective. And sounds like you were on this track of looking for the next thing and then the next thing and like working on it through that journey.
Yes, and I was also laying my power to the doctor, giving my power to the doctors. And a part of me wanted to diagnose for better treatment, but the other part of me wanted to diagnose as a validation of being ill. And so I gave a lot of power away by it. But I had a very good rehabilitation doctor, and she said it doesn't really matter what kind of diagnosis we give you. You just would benefit from connective tissue treatment. So I did rehab for 10 months, and that was very beneficial. I had an amazing therapist. And it also explained why I didn't really heal from the whiplash, because my neck was very unstable. And by then, after 10 months, I felt, okay, I'm ready for some more treatment for my whiplash, because it's more stable now. But the doctor said, yeah, but it's more than 20 years ago. I don't think it will ever heal. But I knew it would. And
I
and
just
then
want to speak to that for a moment, because I know
yeah,
people get really frustrated when doctors say, you'll never get better, this isn't possible. What they're actually speaking to is, if all conditions are the same, this is probably going to continue. And most doctors aren't aware of how much we can shift, of the fact that our consciousness is what's keeping that physical in place, and the fact that our consciousness can shift very substantially. And most of them have never been exposed to the data and the research and the studies of that happening, like someone having a spontaneous resolution of stage 4 cancer, or severe physical musculoskeletal disease, or even severe arthritis. They have never been exposed to that. And so they're speaking from a paradigm where this is the only truth I know. So it's not that they don't care. It's not that they're trying to hold you back. It's they've been programmed in a paradigm that only sees one thing. That's all they've learned. It's all they've been shown. And there are ways that in that system we are actively dissuaded from looking at other paradigms and other approaches, to the point of, smear campaigns against those modalities. This is bad, this is wrong, I don't know what they're doing, and this kind of like superiority, this is the best way. And so it isn't that the individual doctor doesn't care, it's just that's the truth as far as they've seen it, that if we don't shift anything substantially, it's pretty much going to go this way. Let's just manage it. And so for you, you'd explored beyond that. You had awareness. You've been exposed to MindBody Medicine and Joe Dispenza's work, and you'd seen like, wait a minute, there's something else possible. So it really, I think a lot of the things you did right were to explore that heart's calling of looking at more expansive perspectives, trying them out, making some commitments and letting them start to work on you. Where were you then when you found this work? It sounds like you were ready. There was some doubt, but what really resonated with you to know that this was your next step?
Yeah, just before I attended Embracing Health, I did a year of, it was called the Concussion Fix program. And it was a holistic approach, but it was really focused on working very hard, doing a lot of exercise. And I was combining it with your work. And at some point I felt I wanted more fluid. I don't want to work that hard anymore. And I was fed up with doing all the exercises. And I was very interested by tuning in more to the innate capacity of my body to heal. And that's what really brought me to your work. But also, I felt it would serve me on much more areas than just my health. And my whole life was on a waiting modus for a long, long time. I was just waiting till I was feeling better so I could attend life more. And somehow I felt embracing health will help me to step back in life.
And so how was this different, and what changes did you notice through this work?
What change did I notice? Yeah, a lot. Then what I really realized was there was contraction in my system, and that caused the illness. And with being chronic ill for a long time, and all those patterns and behaviors and emotions that serve the illness but not the healing. And I was trapped in that. And in embracing health is in a frequency of healing. So all those parts of me that were in the space of illness were brought to the space of healing. And it really helped me to be immersed in that frequency all the time. And when I was feeling low, I just went to the Facebook group and scrolled through some posts to be in that frequency again. And I watched every day a little bit of the monthly calls. And I did every day, I did the monthly audio. And also for me, I had a lot of sensory overwhelm. So going to the supermarket was a big challenge. And I just had for example, the instant elevation technique. I had it on my ears, just on repeat, repeat. So my cells got another message, got the message of healing instead of surviving. And so I took you with me through my whole life, everywhere, and and that brought a lot of healing in my system.
So I know you said your B12 levels, which were low, and they said that was genetic, and you've had family members with the same thing, and that has improved, where your body's now way better able to absorb B12, where it was previously unable to absorb B12. You were having two per week, and now you said it's like 1 to 2 per month.
Yeah, 2 per month or so. Yeah. And I have a lot of other improvements. I have much more energy now. Before the embracing health, I was in a good day. I was able to walk an hour or so. And now I'm able to walk like 2 hours. I have less pain, far less pain in my body. And I'm doing much more activities during the day. I moved houses like a half year ago, and I can do much more in the renovation of my home than I ever expected to be. I had someone who was helping me cleaning my home, but I don't need that anymore. I'm able to do it myself. I didn't have any subluxations since the program.
Well, that's huge.
Yeah, and it was funny because I was cleaning my home and I found some braces where I had for my wrist and for my thumbs, and I didn't use them for 6 months or so and completely forgot I had them. So that was very funny. And with a lot of symptoms, I actually got aware that they were less on moments they came back for a little while. And I just didn't miss them until they came back. I thought, oh, but I didn't have that for a long time. And and a big thing to me was also resolving migraines. I since the accident, I had those episodes of migraines, and they could take for a couple of weeks, and then I had a day with migraine and a day without migraine, and then another day with migraine. And every time there was a cause of the migraine. So when I was having migraine, I was always very hard looking for what can it cause this time? Is it food sensitivity or some supplements? Or so I was really trying to fix it. And I was having a session with Jessica as well by that time, and I felt I want to go to the root cause this time, and because there's something why my system is out of balance all the time. And so I started to feel all the emotions that were under it, and there was a lot of fear in my system to have another migraine episode again. And Jessica suggested me to have just one breath at a time with a bit more awareness, and my whole system was on fire when I had those migraine attacks. So I was just exercising with one breath at a time and feeling a bit more peace. And the next day I was able to do 2 breaths at a time, and that was improving. And I was focusing on all the little spots that I was feeling better. So normally it was when I woke up and I felt a little bit of headache. I thought, oh my God, the migraine is coming back. And bam, the migraine was there. And now I was more focusing on, oh, hey, it's a bit less severe. And let's celebrate that. And so the text became shorter and shorter. And I also had more clarity what my body needed and how I could nourish my body instead of fixing it. And it was the first time ever that an episode completely resolved without needed treatment. And since then, I didn't have any migraine episodes. I sometimes have some headache, and then I feel the fear again. But now I'm just letting the fear be there and seeing it as an invitation to meet the fear.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so it sounds your life is a whole lot more functional that, you were in bed and bedridden and now you're, doing work and functioning. And I know you mentioned also major changes with your relationships with friends and family. I thought that would be worth talking about because sometimes we think we have this illness, let's just get the illness solved and just get that thing handled. We don't realize that the journey of moving into the experience actually lets a resolution happen, not just in our health, but in every other area of our lives, which is really what makes it so much more worth this journey than we think, right? Oh, let me just fix the problem. Oh, certainly that's worth $5,000 or $10,000. But we don't realize, no, what is actually in store is so much bigger than that. So would you share a little bit about what other things you saw change with your relationships or other areas of your life?
Yeah, actually, the whole embracing health journey was for me about connecting more and more with the authentic self. And the Facebook group really helped me to show myself more. In the beginning, I was really overwhelmed by the group, and I was hiding, and I was meeting the insecurity inside of me. And I felt more secure to share myself, and I felt really celebrated in the group. And there's so much love in the group, and that really helped me to to show myself more in daily life. And I've always been very sensitive and try to adapt and to be in a way that I thought that I should be. And the Embracing Health group really helped me to connect more with the authentic me. So I was also in my family, I'm a bit an outsider. And I was trying to fit in, and now I'm just expressing myself, and they accept it. And I also feel less triggered and less reactive by my family. And the last half year, I was renovating my home. I saw my parents every week at least. And a couple of years ago, it wasn't even a possibility because then I would fight and I would just set out the door. So that's a big change that I have
These
a
are
much better
important.
relationship with them.
There's a lot that lies in the subconscious. So we may be conscious of pain or an illness or a challenge we're having in our lives, but not at all aware of all of the subconscious things underlying it. And with this work we're doing in Embracing Health, we're resolving in the subconscious level, which is like almost 90% of everything we're creating. Almost everything we're creating, we're not even conscious of why we're behaving that way, why we feel this way, why we have this problem, why the body isn't healing. But when we make the shifts in the unconscious, so much can change that we're like, I don't even know how, but I'm no longer triggered by my family. I don't even know how, but I no longer have those migraine headaches. My body can resolve them. I have no idea how, but my body can absorb B12 where genetically it was impossible to absorb B12. That's because of the changes we're making in the unconscious. It's easy to see the conscious changes to put more vitamin B12 on board and call it a day. But to make the subconscious changes is where we really have the most exponential benefit and the exponential impact.
Yeah, and it was interesting because when you invited me to be on this call, I felt very hesitated because my level of English. And Jessica said to me, "No, but it's perfect." But I didn't really believe her. So, but I thought, okay, maybe it's a little bit true. Let's see. And I realized that at the high school, I was struggling with English a lot, and I didn't pass my end exam for English, and it was just one nightmare. But after that, I lived in England for 6 months, and my university study was a lot in English. But because I was still being the high school student, I was operating on that English level, and I didn't connect with the one who was speaking much better English than and had all those experiences. And at the minute I realized that, my English improved without doing anything, and I was addressing it a completely different way, because when I didn't know a word, I just felt very inspired to learn a new word. And I see all the comments coming in, so I'm a bit distracted.
Sorry.
That was for me such a beautiful expression of that. If your perception change, then an whole other you can come in, and it's about making space for the other version of you.
Would you speak a little bit about, I know you said when you first had the inspiration to join, that the mind, see, the mind's patterns want to keep us in the old pattern. It's like, we don't want change. Let's keep us safe. And it will shut us down from expansion. And so the mind was like, no, 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 just do the free content. You don't need to do that. And to keep you small. What would you say to someone who's thinking that? Well, I'll just do this. I get it. I'll do this on my own. I don't need to necessarily join a program or invest. What would you say to that person?
Yeah, what me really helped was to allow myself to do it in a fluid way, and to to give myself the opportunity to get most out of it, and to receive all the support that is there. I think that was a big one for me, that I really thought I had to do it on myself, and I had already a certain awareness, and I had to prove I was able to do it myself. And there's just so much available with you and your team, and give yourself the opportunity to receive that.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing, is where the ego and the programming blocks us from receiving.
Yeah.
And so you had the insight to say, oh, wait a minute, that's just me proving I have to do it on my own. I can do it on my own. I think for a lot of people, they don't always have that insight. They just think, nope, nope, I got to do this. This is the way I do it. But really what we are doing here is breaking that pattern. And actually, to bring something from Joe Dispenza, he says, becoming not you, breaking the habit of being yourself. And the self you're being is in that construct of the contraction and the closure and the illness and the inflammation and the poverty, limitation, isolation. And so is that actually the true you, or is that just a program? And when we allow that to unwind and we actually open to receive, as soon as we choose beyond the program, we put things in place. We put in place, like for yourself, there was unexpected money coming in that had never come through that channel before. There's health and healing that happens because of that choice, because we're choosing beyond the program. So I think that's a really important thing to consider, is like, wait a minute. Yeah, I could keep listening to the doubter, and here's what gets created when I do that. Or I could listen to the heart and see what shows up and what miraculous things are possible.
Yeah, and I experienced, if you choose receiving in one area of your life, you're also open to receive at other parts of your life. And that's been very an eye-opener to me. So I chose to receive the program. So I opened myself for healing, and I opened myself for money, and I opened myself for friends. And it's just all about opening up, because what you always say, like life is serving you and it's already there and there is abundance. And yeah, you just have to step into the receiving. And then it's available for you. Yeah, but you have to move into it.
Yeah, and choose it. That's a
Yeah.
huge piece, is that your choice can create that healing and can create that money flow or friendships. But the choices you're currently making are keeping those limitations in place. We just don't always realize how we're doing it. People are really loving what you're sharing, so I just thought I would share that with you. You're speaking beautiful English. I'm glad you shared about how your mind was reacting to joining the Embracing Health program. Other people are saying also, Kelly said, I no longer feel like an outsider anywhere. And she's just come through that work as well, because I'm fully connected to myself, and it brings me into connection with everyone else. Do you have anything else we didn't touch on that you'd like to share, either about how this work was really different, or the results you found, or what's changed, or just encouragement for those who are considering or ready for this change, but maybe they're afraid?
Yeah, for me, the difference between this and other programs was that it was just fluid for me. And other programs, I always had to work very hard. And it's the first time, I think actually I did a year-long program, and I'm still attending it, and I'm just doing it fluidly. And I just love it. And it's really nurturing my soul. And it doesn't feel like working or I have to do. I'm always looking forward to the next goal. And so it's really nourishing my whole life, and it's upgrading my whole life. And yeah, it's so, oh, it touched me as well if I say that. Yeah. And it's, before I attended Embracing Health, I had the wish to be in a community with like-minded souls, and I wasn't expecting that from Embracing Health. It was not the reason I was attending it, but I found the community in there, and I connect with so many nice, beautiful people, and I felt inspired by their stories, and they feel inspired by me. And I have some very beautiful, heartful connections, and so that's very precious to me.
Thank you. It's beautiful. You're glowing and you look amazing. And I'm so grateful you're sharing this and that you were able to receive so much. I will share the link here. It's drkimd.com/health. Registration is open for those who are ready to join. We open the registration once a year. We do also have a workshop that's happening on the 16th. It's at drkimd.com/workshop, where there will be sort of an introduction workshop. And to the premise of this work, we'll do some integration exercises. It will be a really powerful kickoff to what we will be doing throughout the year. So for those who have already registered and are a part of that, you're going to want to be there. For those who are coming in, considering it, either register now if you're clear, or you can come to that workshop as your kickoff and register that day. The other thing I wanted to add is we have several pieces in this program that will work on you. So I had that same journey where I was working really hard at other programs, the same exact programs. And I kept thinking, is it just me? Like, maybe I got to push harder. Maybe I got to work harder. Maybe I got to try harder. And I wasn't getting that nourishment that inspired me or gave me the fuel to put more into it. So it actually depleted me. And so eventually it was like, I got to put this away. And so even though I knew and I understood that the premise of that work was similar to mine, it didn't create that shift. And so I knew that for myself, it would have to be done in a way that really nurtured me, that I received more for what I put in. Like, you put in an hour and you get like 10 hours of energy, or you get a quantum leap in inspiration and clarity that makes it well worth beyond that time that you get the time back. And so for me, it was like, what would have to happen during that session? What would it have to be like to have me really excited to show up? Like you show up to eat, I don't know, a decadent piece of chocolate cake or like an amazing, whatever it is, you know, pasta bolognese that you love, or something that you're like, oh, this is not only nourishing me, but I love doing this. I love choosing it. And so all parts of me are on board for doing that. And so that's really how I've created this work. We will have a different theme each month, as well as an integration audio through the month that works on your system. You can use it before you go to sleep. It's designed to be fluid. It's designed to nurture you and be effortless. And it's also designed not only for those experiencing illness that just won't budge no matter what you do, but for those of us who are empathic or highly sensitive or becoming more conscious, and you're not sure how to navigate that, but you're ready to consciously create your life, to really activate your creative power for your life, for your work, for your money, for your relationships, to show up in the world as the that higher inner, true, authentic that is in you, so that that's what creates in your life, and you really reap the benefits and the wealth and health of that expression. So it's not only for those who are in a diagnosis or an illness, although that is certainly, you know, a part of what we're doing. But anyone who is empathic, highly sensitive, and ready to be fully conscious in creatorship of what we're doing here on the planet. Lisa said the tools I learned in EH totally changed my life. Such a powerful program. Thank you for sharing, Lisa. And feel free to extrapolate on that. Like, what were the changes that you noticed, or what were you experiencing before that has significantly changed? Peter said, I'm so glad I got to spend time listening to you guys. I feel a lot better. Yeah. And when we invest in that, like, we make a choice to move in that direction exponentially further. So for those of you who've maybe just like listened to the live content, the free content we do publicly, what we're doing in the course is exponentially deeper, and making a commitment to do that brings you into way, way, way more openness beyond the matrix, beyond the programs, to actually receive this at a deeper level. Do you have anything you want to add on that? Because I know that was something that had come up for you.
Yeah.
Goodwin said, same here. I found lifelong friends through this course.
It's so nice to see all the people from the group in here. It feels very familiar. Yeah, what I want to add, what for me was also a lot of value in the fact that we were able to share in the Facebook groups and during the check-ins, and that you were answering questions and giving advice. And that really helped me. And sometimes it was just 2 sentences. You answered with 2 sentences, and my whole perception of the situation changed. And so I was able to bring the embracing health in my life all the time, and keep evolving by all the practical advice. And mostly the things were showing up in my life didn't have anything to do with my health condition, but it was all connected to each other.
Thank you. Well, thank you for being here, and thank you everyone for listening. I know we've had people from all over the world, Ireland, the Netherlands, Colorado, Vancouver, Dominican Republic, England, Slovenia, Oregon. I just want to appreciate everyone for coming. Calgary, hello, Shayla. And then we've got Pakistan. That is so wonderful. I love our amazing international community. And I'm so grateful for everyone here. And thank you guys for sharing your experience with these programs, Claudia and Kelly. For those of you who are ready, you can certainly click on the link. You'll see the page. There's the link to register right there. For those of you who are like, whoa, what? Explore the page, let it in. You will feel a cellular shift, because this is a different frequency of consciousness that we're working on. So just feel your body as you read the page, and you'll feel is this for me? Will this expand my life? Will this bring me more joy and prosperity? You can just ask that from your higher self and really let in the guidance. And for those of you who are ready, I will see you in the program. We've already opened, and there's the community forming already online. So I will look forward to seeing you there. And
Me too.
the workshop is drkimb.com/workshop. All right. I love you so much. I'm so glad we met in Ymkje, which I've learned that beautiful name for the first time, as I never met Ymkje before. But it's great to connect with you from way over here.
Yeah.
And I'm just grateful that you've had the shifts and changes and joy and prosperity and health that you have let in.
Yeah, I'm so grateful for you and all your work and the program. It really changed my life. Yeah.
All right, lots of love, everyone. We'll be here next week again for our next session of Mind Body Miracles on our MindBody TV series through May. And it is even more awesome and inspiring the more and more we continue with this. So I look forward to seeing you there as well. Bye.